Also, we're following breaking news at Northlake College where there are reports of an active shooter. The very latest on this breaking news straight ahead on News 8 Midday.
Live from Victory Park, this is News 8 Now.
We're watching the weather this midday as storms move into North Texas. You can see the green there on the radar. And the rain is coming down in this live picture from Tarrant County. But first, we start with breaking news from Northlake College in Irving. We want to show you a tweet that was sent out from the community college. It says, quote, Northlake College intruder lockdown. Go to nearest room and lockdown. If not at campus, stay away for your own safety. Now, Irving police is confirming that shots were fired on the campus. So here's a tweet now, another one from Northlake College, again, warning folks of that lockdown and to take shelter. Again, Northlake College is part of the Dallas County Community College District. It's located on North MacArthur Boulevard in the Las Colinas area of Irving. We have a crew on the way right now, and we'll be sure to bring you more details as soon as they come into the newsroom. So thanks for joining us for this edition of News 8 Midday. I'm Alisha Laventure. Now we get back to the weather, heading over to meteorologist Colleen Coyle for the latest on these storms that could be severe. Colleen?
Coming up.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Colleen. We want to continue now with that breaking news coming out of Las Colinas in Irving, where we have reports of an active shooter at Northlake Community College. We have Rebecca Lopez now coming to us live in our newsroom to give us an update on this active shooter situation. Rebecca?
Well, Irving police,
and I believe that they've issued some information that we have not.
And Alisha Laventure here. I understand that the information is still coming in at this point, but your central campus sits on about 276 acres. Can you give us any idea of where the activity is concentrated at this moment?
Actually, I can't. I don't know.
At this point, what is the protocol that the safety officials on campus are taking as we try to assess this situation?
Well, usually the process is that our police department at Irving and the Northlake College police and the Irving police are doing the necessary procedures that they would follow in a lockdown to determine what's going on and take the appropriate action. And as a lockdown is called, then everyone else, students, faculty, staff, remain in their rooms and on lockdown, and they're all usually instructed not to leave. They do not leave until police arrive and tell them to leave.
So at this point, are we advising folks who are on lockdown, who have barricaded themselves, they just need to wait at this point for a law enforcement official of some sort to let them know the coast is clear before they make any movements?
Yes, everyone who's on lockdown needs to wait for law enforcement to notify them that lockdown is over with and that they can leave. Otherwise, they need to stay in place.
And I see even on your website here, on the Northlake College website, there is a warning right there at the top saying, proceed with others to the nearest room and barricade and or lock yourselves in the room. Wait in place for further instructions. If you're not on campus, to stay away. That, I believe, is something really important to stress for folks who may be planning to come to the campus for whatever reason.
Absolutely. Any student or employee who is not on campus at Northlake College now, we are asking them please to stay away from campus so that law enforcement and other individuals can do their jobs and resolve the situation.
And can you give us an idea of how many people are actually on campus right now? I would imagine a couple thousand students, faculty and staff. How many people are in this area?
I don't really know myself. I can try to find out for you, but I don't know that.
All right, Ann, thank you so much. Ann with Northlake College giving us an update now, again, on this active shooter situation. Want to turn now to a student whose name is Mike. Mike, can you give us an idea? Firstly, are you safe where you are right now?
Yeah. Hello,
Mike,
there?
Yes. Explain to me what exactly you've been seeing and hearing at this point.
I have not sure 100%. We were in a classroom. Next thing you know, we heard people like running in the hall and yelling. We thought it was one of the instructors yelling at the students to hurry up and get in here or something. Next thing you know, some guy comes running in the room, and some guy I'd only seen him, he's an employee, I'd only seen him a couple times.
So you're
barely
saying...
recognize him, but he runs the room, slams the door, locks the room, and says, "Everybody get down, lock down." He locks the door. He shuts the lights off. People had their laptops up. Teachers are like, "Yeah, students put their laptops down." Out in the hallway, you can hear people yelling, running. You hear like police, like cops, like, "Hey, get down," and stuff. And a few minutes later, about 10 minutes later, go by, about 4 or 5 SWAT team looking guys got automatic weapons come into the room. They're like, "Everyone, put your hands up, put your heads behind your head," and they say, "Anyone here dangerous?" No. Everybody, the teacher's like, "Oh, everyone's good." And then they're like, "Okay, here's what we're gonna have you do. We have you stand up, keep your hands on your head, and walk out." As we're walking out, there's cops in every corner with automatic weapons, and they're telling us basically to go run, go that way, run. There's cops outside running, telling us go outside, all the way other side of the lake. As you can see, there's a helicopter flying over us. There's a police car. There's with sirens coming in. And there's a bunch of students on the other side of the lake here, everywhere outside, just kind of waiting, wondering what's going on.
So, Mike, it sounds like there is a significant police presence right now, at least where you were. It sounds like you've also been moving too. We understand that this first happened, this shooting situation first broke at 11:43 around that time. It's now about 12:15, so about 30 minutes. Are you still hunkered down, or have you moved now to a safe location? Were you directed
I moved this outside of the campus, just away from the building. And I could see other groups of students all in different directions. I imagine we're safe.
Do you get the sense at this point that there is some sort of process or order as far as where all of the students and folks who are on campus, where they're being moved to a safe location? Yeah,
at this point, it's probably neutralized. It's just the routine now, the user routine. It's been going on, like I said, about a half hour, an hour, 45 minutes, I don't even know, and there's cops everywhere. I think whoever, I don't know. At this point, it's safe, I imagine.
Before you and your fellow students were moved to that separate location, while you were in that room, give me an idea of how many people were there. You said the lights were off. You said you were hunkered down. Sort of give me a visual, paint the picture for me of what exactly was happening before law enforcement came and told you the coast was clear.
There's about 20-something students in my class. I think the cap was like 30, but at least 10 have dropped or whatever. And they were all just sitting in a room, and the lights were off, and there was one random person we didn't know who this was, and there was, and then we're all just, like everyone else was like, "Is this a drill? Is this a drill?" And then it came over the speaker. We're going lockdown procedures. This is not a drill. And then shortly, everyone's phones, including mine, started blowing up with text messages from the district saying lockdown procedures on Northlake. Stay away if you're not there, and that's about it. And then we heard in the NOEPR and people in the street yelling at the halls. People started trying to go towards the window to look, and the instructors were like, "No." The instructor was like, "Get back!" And at one point, she just gave up trying because everyone was doing it anyway.
It's interesting. You're saying at one point there was almost a sense of, is this actually really happening? Is this just a drill, or is this really happening? So as far as you understand, when you heard those announcements over the system, the overhead system, and when those tweets came in, that's when you realized this is a very real situation that you're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like last semester, these idiots did a lockdown drill during finals week, which is stupid because you have, people taking finals, and then they did another one a couple weeks later, and then now, they've been doing them all semester, now all on the day. It's like another one of these drills. Why do you have to wait till right before finals? So that's a lot of frustration at first,
I want to ask you, Mike, is there a sense of panic or relief at this point, the folks that you've spoken with once you were removed from the campus? Do you get the sense that this is sort of, wow, I can't believe we're dealing with this? Or is there shock and just sort of disbelief that you're dealing with an active shooter on your campus?
I don't know what you mean. A lot of people are shocked. Most people are on their phones and stuff. I don't know if they're shocked or not. I don't know.
So at this point, folks are communicating with their loved ones, their friends and family, trying to let them know that they're okay, you're saying?
I imagine everyone and their brother's on their phone right now.
All right, Mike, thank you so much for offering your perspective on this situation. Very happy to hear that you're okay. Again, if you're just joining us, we're discussing now an active shooter situation at Northlake College in Las Colinas in Irving. Irving PD has tweeted confirmation that there is an active shooter situation. So we now want to go back to our Rebecca Lopez, who's in the newsroom, who's been monitoring updates as they're coming into the newsroom. Rebecca?
Yes, we're still trying to get more information from Irving Police Department. As you can imagine, when this sort of stuff happens, everyone is responding to the scene. The first priority is to make sure that all the students are safe, but also to hurry up and try to catch the active shooter, to stop the threat. That is what police are going to be concentrating on right now, is to immediately stop the threat. They train for this type of stuff. A lot of colleges have been training their police officers and their police departments, and as you know, most colleges have their own police forces, and so they are trained. They're trained in active shooter situations. They practice this. They make sure that their officers are ready, and the first thing that they're told is send out the alert, make sure that all the students shelter in place, that they hide, that they are safe, and then stop the shooter, try to stop the threat. That is what is the priority right now for those police officers, and then they will obviously get response from major police departments like Irving Police, and also the FBI will bring in their people. They will bring in their SWAT teams if this does not end quickly. This happened just a couple of days ago here in Dallas, when Dallas had an active shooter. The FBI sees that is happening. They get the alert. They deploy all of their tactical people, as well as any type of hostage negotiators and FBI agents. They come in with their whole full command staff, and that's probably what's going to be happening too, as simultaneously. Back to you.
All right,
Alisha.
Rebecca, thank you so much. Now we want to switch over to our Sebastian Robertson. He's actually on the scene right now, where folks are being advised to completely avoid the area. We saw a tweet there that the roads are being closed. So, Sebastian, want to go to you. Can you give us an idea of the activity that's happening in the area right now?
Well, if you're watching this and maybe you have an answer that we can't give them right now. Back to you.
All right, Sebastian Robertson live on the scene there at Northlake College. While the college is now on lockdown as we're facing an active shooter situation confirmed by the Irving Police Department. If you're just joining us, this is an overhead shot from HD Chopper 8. Now you can see law enforcement in place responding to this active shooter situation. We also have a tweet we want to share with you now. This is video taken inside on the college campus. You can see the person tweeted a message there, lockdown at Northlake College. You can see folks, they're sort of hunkered down, law enforcement going in and out of that room there. At this point, anyone who's on campus is advised to hunker down, stay in place, stay away from those doors and windows as law enforcement deal with this active shooter situation. We spoke with Ann Hatch with the college a little bit earlier, and she says that this has been sent out in blasts, social media, emails. It's even that message written on the website of the college. And now we have our David Goins with Channel 8 News, who's on the scene to give us another perspective of what exactly is transpiring there on the college campus. David, what are you seeing?
Yeah, we're at the intersection here of MacArthur and Northlake College. Back to you.
All right, David, you can obviously hear how shaken up that student was after experiencing what she had. Again, for those of you who are just joining us now, we are covering breaking news coming out of Northlake College in the Las Colinas area of Irving. Irving police has confirmed there is an active shooter on the campus right now. Northlake College telling anyone who may be on the campus to hunker down, barricade themselves, avoid the doors and the windows, as there is a heavy police presence making its way throughout the college campus. At this point, we are talking about Northlake College, located on North MacArthur Boulevard, again in the Las Colinas area. Here is a live view from HD Chopper 8. And actually, we have Gary Alty, who is in HD Chopper 8. Gary, can you give us an idea of where exactly you are and tell us what we're looking at right now?
Yeah, we're just over the center of the campus here, and what we're seeing is just dozens of officers in this area. Officers in cars, on foot, guns drawn. A lot of activity that we see happens to be in the backside of the front area of this campus, if that makes any sense. You can see a circle drive here on the right-hand side of your screen as I zoom out. But, dozens of officers all over this campus, and there's two agencies at work here. There's the the Irving Police Department, and then the campus police department also, and they're trying to keep these students safe. Some students have left, as you mentioned, and we saw some students earlier kind of out away from the main buildings, out in the parking lot, some of them leaving, going to their cars, and others, like you said, if they can't get out into a certain building, they're told to either hunker down and basically lock themselves in what they see as a safe environment. But as you can see, officers are still congregating and actually trying to figure out an exact strategy of how they want to go through this building and clear it right away. They want to clear it as fast as they can. They want to get in as fast as they can, because this is a situation that you don't want to go on. And again, Irving Police has confirmed 3 shots, as have witnesses, as you just heard, say that they heard 3 shots, somewhere in the campus. In what part of the building, we're not exactly sure, but as you can see, this is a currently very unfolding situation, and nothing set in concrete, except that they have confirmed shots fired on campus.
Gary, this is a really sobering sight, because we're talking about a college campus here. Normally, on a Wednesday afternoon, you'd see plenty of students, faculty maybe just walking around on foot, making their way around campus. But as we're looking at this shot here, you see so many law enforcement cars there. You see the officers there, and at one point we even saw a shot of officers armed with their weapons drawn.
Yes, plenty of officers in that situation, and it's become almost an all too common scene around the country these days, where someone has an axe to grind, they're agitated about something, and something like this happens, and you'd think you'd be on a college campus, you'd think you'd be safe, you'd think you'd kind of go about your studies and not have to worry about problems as such. But unfortunately, these things have kind of infiltrated into the college campuses and stuff, and it's just very unsettling, as you saw just how disturbed that one student was by this. And I just can't imagine being in there at that time and hearing that, and having these folks that just aren't prepared for this kind of thing to have to deal with that. It's got to be very, very unsettling.
Sure, something that we should not be having to prepare for, but ultimately it's necessary, unfortunately, this day and age. So that was Gary Ulte there in HD Chopper 8, giving us an aerial view of Northlake College. So here's another shot we want to show you from the ground. Here you see more the city of Irving there. Their mobile command center is now en route, making its way to a location where they will set up shop and continue to assess the situation, figure out exactly how they're going to approach this. Again, dealing with an active shooter on that campus. We have several crews who have been here since we first heard of this around 11:43 this morning. So now we want to give you again an update of what we're dealing with. Irving Police has confirmed there is an active shooter at Northlake College. At this point, because of this, 2 Irving ISD schools in the area are on lockdown. This is Jack E. Singley Academy and MacArthur High School on lockdown. So now we have Leslie Weaver with Irving ISD. Leslie, thank you so much for joining us on the phone this midday. So at this point, can you explain to us how the ISD is handling this situation?
Yes, currently we have 2 of our high schools in lockout. Singley Academy is on lockout. Singley Academy is the school located closest to that Northlake College campus. And out of abundance of precaution, we have also placed MacArthur High School on lockout. And so what that means is we're asking families for patience. This means that no students will be allowed to enter or exit the building for any reason. No parents will be allowed to access those campuses for any reason, and that is just for everyone's safety. At this time, there are clearly reports of an active shooter at Northlake College, and so we do not know who that person is, so we cannot take any chances by having someone come up to the school and saying they're a parent and want to take their kids out. So no students will be allowed to leave until that lockout is lifted, and we will not lift the lockout until law enforcement officials absolutely assure us that there is no threat in the area. We have no reason to believe at this time that there is any threat against any of our schools or students or staff. But again, out of an abundance of precaution, we will do everything we can to keep our kids safe.
Leslie, do you have an idea of how far those two schools are from Northlake College campus?
Singley Academy is going to be the closest. Their properties actually border each other, and MacArthur High School is a few miles away.
All right, Leslie Weavers with Irving ISD giving us an update now on a lockdown situation at two schools, Singley, which is closest to Northlake College campus, and also MacArthur High School, as rather out of an abundance of caution at this point. Leslie, thank you so much for joining us. So we want to go back to Sebastian Robertson, who is on the scene right now at Northlake College. Sebastian, we're just looking at overhead shots right now from HE Chopper 8. Lots of people sort of gathered in what I believe would be safe areas at this point. What are you seeing on the ground by you?
Well, initially they were asking people from a loved one. Back to you guys.
Sebastian, no surprise there that folks are emotional during this time, trying to understand what's going on with their loved ones. At this point, we want to give you an update now from Irving Police regarding the suspect. We have a description. Irving Police is saying the suspected shooter at this point is a white man wearing an orange tank top, a black jacket with a buzz haircut. They say he is armed with a handgun. Again, Irving Police giving a description now of the suspected shooter at Northlake College on campus. They say he is a white man wearing an orange tank top, a black jacket with a buzz haircut, and he's carrying a handgun. Again, you're looking at aerial shots right now from HD Chopper 8 of Northlake College campus. You can see a mobile command center there parked now in a parking lot. Plenty of law enforcement, pretty much the only type of car you see in that area right there. On the left side of your screen, you see folks who were on campus now in a safe area, gathered, likely talking to each other, trying to get the latest information as they're trying to understand what exactly is going on their campus. Again, we first heard of this active shooter at 11:43 this morning. Alerts and blasts went out on social media, email, and even on Northlake's website, warning people who are on campus to hunker down, barricade themselves, stay away from the doors, stay away from the windows, wait until law enforcement give them a command as far as where they need to go. And you can see we have so many of those law enforcement officials on the scene right now, some of them wearing tactical gear, trying to assess the situation, understand what their next move is. So now I want to go back to Rebecca Lopez, who is in our newsroom. And Rebecca, you have covered so many of these types of situations, these active shooter situations. You were even doing that just earlier this week. So I want to get your perspective on how you see this unfolding as we're trying to learn more information, how you see all of this playing out.
Well, you know, this is obviously unfortunate.
And go from there. We'll send it back to you.
All right, David Goins, thank you. Coming to us live from Northlake College campus there. Again, you just heard a press conference with one of the law enforcement officers on the scene. They are giving us the latest update that the suspected gunman is dead, along with another person. Police say they are no longer looking for a suspect at this point. Officers found the suspected gunman dead in a building, and at this point they believe they're working with a potential murder-suicide. We heard a lot from witnesses there who said a lot of activity was going on in Building C. Still waiting to confirm exactly where all of this happened. Now, coming up on 12:50, just over an hour, where we first heard of this situation on Northlake's campus here. But again, we are hearing that 2 people are dead, one of them believed to be the suspected shooter. We were giving you a description of who police believed that shooter was. At this point, that was the description: a white man wearing an orange tank top, black jacket with a buzz haircut. We're still waiting for police to confirm if who they found to be the suspected shooter actually matches that description. In the meantime, we want to go to a student, Sean Emercy. We have Sean on the phone right now. Sean, how are you doing? And just sort of give us an idea of what you saw happen this morning and this afternoon.
I'm doing all right for this context. But so what happened was, I was sitting in the building, I believe it's a C building, waiting for my guidance counselor, and we all heard, I heard 3 shots, consecutively. At first I thought it was like a trash can falling down, but it was way too loud. And then it was so surreal that everyone just started running and I didn't realize what was happening, and I just started going with them, and then there was like a whole panic, and then everyone started going to lockdown, but I just kind of ran out of the building and tried to get to my car. But I came back to one of the other buildings where I can see kind of everything that's going on.
Sean, you're a student. How long have you been a student on the campus?
This is I'm about to finish my second semester.
About to finish your second semester. Have you ever experienced this sort of fear, this uncertainty? What you're feeling emotionally right now? Have you ever come close to feeling this your first 2 years, your first time on this campus?
Well, see, the thing is, I was born in Texas, but I spent the last 13 years of my life in Canada, where like guns are never even seen. So when I heard about guns are going to be allowed on campus in a few months, or it's starting already, I was like, it's pretty stupid. Now just like, I mean, why? What's the point of having guns on a school campus? I don't see any point.
And at this point, we're still trying to understand who that suspect was, if it was a student or an outsider, someone, a stranger to the college community. But at this point, do you understand what's transpired? Are you feeling a sense of relief knowing now at this point that who police believe was the shooter, he's no longer a threat?
I mean, but like as you said, they're still investigating. I can still see the police officers standing at the entrances. So I mean, yes, but at the same time, I'm relieved, but at the same time, I'm not, because I know that 2 people have died, and one was a shooter, so one person was obviously innocent. Sure.
What's the consensus amongst your fellow students, folks you've spoken with this afternoon?
I took a lot of video, I have a lot of footage, and in the footage you can see that, which will be on my YouTube channel, Sean and Mercy. Sorry, but all the students are outside in the parking lot, like far away. I'm kind of in this one isolated building, which is the psychology building, which gives me like a really good view, where I'm just trying to get some footage, so I can like let the outside world know what's happening. So I know people are scared out there.
While you were taking shelter, were you feeling that, I don't know, this could be it? Did you ever even expect something like this to be happening today on a Wednesday?
No, I mean, in the first couple seconds where it was happening, I was like, no way, this is like, I see this in movies. I really thought I was dreaming. I didn't believe it.
Clearly a lot of people just shocked by what's happened here on this campus. It's hard to believe that this is the reality, but it certainly is. Sean and Mercy, thank you so much for joining us, and we're happy to hear that you're safe. We want to turn now to our David Goins, who is again live on the scene, and he's talking to a witness. David, how's that conversation going?
Yeah, give me a sense of what you saw happen here, so we'll send it back to you.
All right, David, thank you so much for that live update. Again, we're still continuing to follow information that's coming in regarding this shooter. We again confirmed that 2 people are dead, including the suspected gunman. So we want to go back now to Sebastian Robertson, who's been on the scene now for a good hour since we first heard this story break around 11:45. So, Sebastian, what exactly are you seeing? What exactly are you hearing?
Well, news is quickly spreading around people. You see people come up and trying to figure out what's going on. Back to you.
All right, Sebastian, incredible to hear those eyewitness accounts, raw, emotion-filled accounts of what happened here on Northlake College. So, at this point, we want to reiterate that we have confirmed 2 people are dead. At this point, officers are working to clear the building and clear the campus. At this point, officers believe that one of the 2 people dead is the suspected shooter. The second person at this point, they have not confirmed if that was a student, who exactly that second victim was. But again, confirming that 2 people are dead, and they do believe amongst those 2 people that is the suspected shooter, including, and at this point, they are working this, they're believing that this potentially is a case of murder-suicide. So we want to go back now to our Rebecca Lopez, who's in the newsroom, who's been following this closely with us since we first got word of this shooter on the college campus around 11:43 this morning. Still looking at aerial shots. Rebecca, at this point, we do know that the suspected gunman is down, but this is far from over at this point. We have such a heavy police presence. We still have officers working the campus, working the scene, still trying to get specific information as to what exactly went down. So at this point, how can we expect this situation to continue? How do we expect to learn more information?
It's going to take a little while to process all of this. And as you recall, just last Monday, we had an office building where they had an active shooter as well. And it takes a while to be sure to clear everyone out because because as you were talking and we were listening to some of the eyewitnesses, they were told to turn off their cell phones, and so some of them may be hiding in places, and police need to get to them and let them know that it's okay to come out. That took a couple of hours last Monday, and it's interesting to note that in all three of the active shooter situations that unfortunately the Dallas-Fort Worth area has seen in just about a week, every one of them ended in a suicide, a murder-suicide, and most of these have some sort of mental illness component as well. And it is what law enforcement is facing and what everyone is facing on the streets of North Texas and really across the country. And so what we're going to see now, though, is the detectives go in and interview all those eyewitnesses. It's going to take a while to process the crime scene. They want to know where the person got the weapon, should they have had a weapon, all of that stuff that's going to be happening now at this point. And then, of course, clearing every single building as people sheltered in place, as they are told to do, and as they do now, unfortunately, in these kind of situations. But again, you know, we've had three of these in about a week here in Dallas, so in the Dallas area. Alisha, back to you.
Three too many, Rebecca. Thank you so much for that perspective. Again, we are continuing to follow this situation of two people dead on the Northlake College campus. We will continue to follow this story both online on our website, WFAA.com, and send you updates and alerts throughout the day using our WFAA app. Again, thank you so much for joining us for our live coverage of this shooting on Northlake College campus. Again, we will continue that live coverage online, WFAA.com. All right, so again, we are continuing this coverage now of the shooting on Northlake College campus. Again, we first heard of this shooter at 11:43 this morning. At this point, we have confirmed that two people are dead. Irving police gave a press conference not too long ago saying that the suspected shooter is among the two people dead. Still waiting to identify who that second person is, whether it was a student, a staff member, still waiting to find out who that is. You can see here, this is an aerial shot from HD Chopper 8. Plenty of law enforcement, a heavy police presence, a mobile command center at the top of your screen there in place. Even though at this point police say the threat has been assessed, they are still working this scene. They're still on the campus combing through to make sure that people are safe, letting people know that the threat is over. And we, of course, have several members of our WFAA news team on the scene right now. We're going to go now to our David Goins, who's been there for about an hour now. David, you've talked to witnesses, some eyewitnesses. You hear lots of emotion. You hear this was pretty much traumatic for them. So at this point, let us know where exactly you are and what you're seeing in your area.
Yeah, Alicia, we're kind of at the main entrance here off a pretty bizarre scene out here. So that's where things stand right now. Obviously, Irving Police will be out here for quite a while, so we'll send it back to you guys.
All right, David, interesting to note there, you just saw some of those students walking out of the G building, as David just mentioned, and you saw they were walking with their hands up. And we did hear from a student before that the students were instructed by the police officers, by the law enforcement who were going through the campus to get up, to follow suit, to walk out with their hands up. So we understand this is part of the protocol as the law enforcement officers are going through the campus right now, clearing the campus, making sure everyone gets to a safe area. So in these situations where we're dealing with a shooter, at the time when it was an active shooter, we know people are trying to communicate with one another. We know they're communicating on social media, not only to give updates, but also sort of expressing what they're feeling right now. And we've mentioned before that this is just one of 3 active shooter situations within the past week or so. And we're talking about these situations on college campuses. So now we want to go to our Jason Wheeler, who joins me live in the studio now. And Jason, I can only imagine what you're seeing on social media regarding this situation on the college campus.
Yeah, Alicia, we've been aggregating the content that's been coming across social media because one's accounted for and that everyone else is safe. But again, it looks like we do have one victim, and police are saying it looks like the shooter has committed suicide. We'll keep on monitoring social media and bring you the very latest as soon as we get it. Back to you, Alicia.
Jason, thank you so much for that. You know, Jason just mentioned the ripple effect that happens when you have a situation where you have a shooter on campus. And we mentioned earlier in the day that there were at one point 3 schools in Irving ISD that ended up going on lockdown. At this point, we're still waiting to hear from Irving ISD as to whether or not those schools are still on lockdown. So we're showing you here aerial shots from HD Chopper 8 of the Northlake College campus. We have our Gary Ulti in HD Chopper 8. Gary, give us a sense of where you are and what exactly you're seeing from your perspective.
Well, we're still seeing students who maybe even experience some of this relatively close hand.
Certainly a tough reality. Gary, you mentioned how you continue to see students and faculty, folks on campus filing out of the buildings, going to, I guess, gathering points where they're all safe. I'm wondering, are you seeing any more folks going into the area, any more law enforcement officials coming onto the area? Because we know folks are being told to avoid the area, to stay clear of the campus. I'm wondering at this point, all the law enforcement that you see, are they pretty much the ones who are there assessing the situation, or do you continue to see ambulances, law enforcement vehicles, command centers, anything of that sort?
I have not seen other folks arriving on the scene, but I have seen ATF on scene also. But as you can see from the screen here, it's starting to rain, and so these folks will probably hasten their exit from this area, find their cars, find a way to get home, get into some safety, and kind of move out of this area as quick as possible.
All right, so that was our Gary Ulti from HD Chopper 8 giving us some aerial views there of Northlake College. Again, at this point, we can tell you that Irving police have confirmed that 2 people were killed in the shooting on the campus. They believe that one of those people was the suspected gunman, still waiting for an ID. And also a second person was shot and killed. Still unclear if that was a student, a staff member, who that second person was. But of course, we continue to follow updates as they come into our newsroom. And we want to go back now to our newsroom, to our Rebecca Lopez, who's been following this story with us all late morning, early afternoon since this broke 11:43 in the morning. Rebecca, what are you hearing as far as how this investigation continues to move forward?
Well, obviously they will start interviewing all those witnesses, the eyewitnesses, to see what happened. But in my years and years of covering law enforcement and these situations, it looks to me that this is probably someone at college campuses.
You know, Rebecca, you sort of describe a new normal, not only the law enforcement officers, but also students. We heard them in their interviews talking about how they're almost prepared a little bit in a sense for this, because we have been seeing so much of this. You know, they know to hunker down in place, and you talk about the law enforcement officials, how they're assessing the situation. But I want to ask you about resources now, because unfortunately we are seeing more and more of these active shooter situations. So I'm wondering if you can give us an idea of what exactly it takes as far as manpower and equipment to handle a situation like this.
Well, a lot of more law enforcement agencies are starting to get better equipment, but even here in Dallas, even on July 7th, the officers did not have the tactical vests. That what you're seeing right there, those are the tactical vests. They basically have plates on the front and on the back. They are they're better than the bulletproof vests that they have. So that's what the law enforcement wants. And in fact, even firefighters, we had a firefighter shot just this week also in Dallas on Monday. They want those bulletproof vests that have the plates in front that are the tactical vests, and also helmets. Now, they do have crime response teams. A lot of law enforcement do have crime response teams that do have the better equipment, that have the shields, that have the helmets, that are immediately going in, but oftentimes they may not have them right there at the ready. And so there is a push in Dallas to make sure that every single police officer has that tactical vest, and also now firefighters, and the helmet, so that you have to, when you go into these situations, that they are better prepared. And that takes millions of dollars, and that takes the city leaders and the state legislature and all of those providing more money for law enforcement to get the equipment that they need to deal with these types of situations. Alicia, back to you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Certainly an important conversation that needs to be had, that needs to continue regarding the resources when our law enforcement officials are dealing with these types of situations. So now we want to go back to our Jason Wheeler, who's in the studio standing by with a tactical expert, a former member of SWAT and ATF. Jason?
Yeah, this is Hector Tarango. He was the resident agent in charge of the ATF. And we've been talking about this. You've been watching this